Does it take a narcissist to be a successful YouTuber, like a YouTube personality kind of person? And hey, why not? Also throw in being a blogger on the side. This is something I've been aware of for a while. I've had a blog for nearly a decade. I run 2 YouTube channels, and for lack of a better word, we could say that I'm successful at these things. I make money from them. People send me products based on these things. But does it take a special type of person, someone who ultimately is a narcissist? I'm going to say yes. And I'm implying that I have an awareness that by definition, maybe I am a narcissist. But if I'm aware of it and I'm so comfortable with it, does that reinforce that I'm a narcissist, or does it distract from that? Maybe there's only one way, and that's to look on my phone here, and maybe there's nothing more narcissistic than Googling narcissist to find out if I am one. And the definition is a disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self-importance. So already that definition is a little bit different than I thought, because I thought to be a narcissist meant that you think you think you're amazing, you think that you're great, you have an unhealthy self-esteem, that you feel better than everybody else. But that doesn't necessarily seem to be what this is implying. In fact, well, let me just click this next thing. 14 signs someone is a narcissist. I haven't read this yet, but I think this would be good just to kind of get an idea if I feel that I am a narcissist. And I have a feeling there's going to be some irony in this, because one of the things, if you're familiar with my channel, is that one of the things I talk about is I believe in my heart I'm not a good person, because I don't think people are good and evil. And I think if I believe that I'm a good person, then I'm going to feel entitled and that the world owes me or somebody owes me something, and I don't want to feel that way. I've also talked about how I do not believe personally in giving other people permission to rule my emotions. It's an on-off switch that I keep off. I do not allow other people to control me emotionally. That's something I need to take responsibility for myself. Okay? So as far as me thinking that I'm better than other people, I don't know. Can you think that and that's the first one, superiority and entitlement. The whole point is to live my life in a way that I don't feel entitled. As far as being superior, I guess the irony here is if I feel superior, it would only be in the sense that I recognize that I get to control who insults me or offends me, and the answer is no one. And most people don't live their lives that way. So maybe by default you could say that I feel that way, but it's not that I feel that I'm better than other people because of that. It's just that I have an awareness of it. What's number 2? Exaggerated need for attention and validation. You could say by default, exaggerated need for attention. Well, think about this. YouTube has an algorithm, right? And they reward YouTubers like me who turn out, 2 or 3 videos a day. So I've got 2 channels which I do that to keep myself in the higher rankings so more people watch my videos. It's not about quality of videos, it's about quantity. And I know that formula, and it's enabled me to make money off of both channels. So therefore it looks like, oh, I gotta be showing up in your newsfeed every day because I'm so important. But really, for me, it's about following the formula. Validation, I'd say I don't need validation. And here's why I say that. I look at the rest of society, and here you may think, well, this goes back to number one, you feeling superior. But here's my impression of the world on Facebook. And they're asking a question, am I cool enough, pretty enough, funny enough, cool enough, relevant enough? When they are saying things on Facebook and Twitter and posting all these pictures, they're not making a statement, they're asking a question, and that is, am I blank, whatever it is, enough? To me, they're looking for validation. So for the fact I know that, I'm like, I don't do that. Like, I have blog posts that talk about my life, and I guess that could go back to the whole concept of this perceived exaggerated need for attention. But I think the thing that makes it complicated is I've always done this as a way to try to make money on the side. And I think I recognize this talent because basically I'm selling my personality is the way I look at it. It goes back to, imagine me before 3rd grade. I was a shy kid. I was the shy kid. And then in 3rd grade, they needed somebody to be in a play and had like a few speaking lines. So because there was no other boys willing to do it, I did it. And then because I did that, Guess what happens the next year? I'm in another play, and then I'm in all these plays. And then by the time I get to college, guess what? I am getting a degree in teaching, being in front of people. And, so I think what happens is I realize, wait a minute, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at science, but I can sell my personality. I can kind of do this acting thing, this psychological acting thing, right? And I can be pretty good at it. I can draw in a crowd. So I think for me, a lot of it has to do with knowing if I can make money on the side doing this, instead of knowing sports trivia and watching all these sports games and having a relevant conversation with other guys about sports, and which in my opinion don't matter at all, then okay. What's next? Number 3. Let's speed through the rest of these. Perfectionism. So my personality, which is the Enneagram type 1, absolutely defines me as the perfectionist. And you'd say, but Nick, every video I watch, I can easily pick apart something that's not good about it. Yeah, but for me, it's not about my videos being perfect. It's about the process being as perfect as it can to, again, appease the algorithm of YouTube. Number 4, great need for control. Okay, absolutely yes. That's the one that's the most relevant so far. I definitely have a great need for control. Just like I said earlier in this video about how other people allow people to insult them and offend them and hurt their feelings, and I don't allow people to do that. It's a choice. Just like forgiveness is a choice. You get to decide whether you're going to forgive someone. And a lot of people harbor bitterness over not forgiving someone when the other person doesn't often even know what they've done or know how they're being affected. So yeah, I have a great need for control, but things I can control, not things I can't control. And I think that's where I put it. I think it's a healthy need for control. So, okay, yeah, absolutely. Number 5, lack of responsibility, blaming and deflecting. No, that's against my identity in every way. Because for me, I believe most people by default are victims. Now you say, well, now you're sounding superior. Okay, well, maybe. Lack of responsibility. I believe most people by default see themselves as victims. Again, I can be offended by anything anyone says at any time. I can be offended, my feelings can be hurt. And as for me, I say it's a choice to be the opposite of the default, and that is, it's a choice to be victorious. And being a victim is not part of my identity at all. So that one doesn't relate to me, not at all. I'm so against that. Number 6, lack of boundaries. I don't even have to read this. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Because I feel like so much of the videos I make, I'm like, I'm saying what I want to say in this video. Let's see how the rest of the world reacts. And it goes back to the concept of my personality of, I don't care what other people think. I've never been affected by peer pressure. And I guess if you want to think about the superiority thing, then I recognize that much of the world is affected by, oh no, what are people going to think? And for me, I'm like, I don't care what people are going to think. And people have used that as a fault to me in the comment section. I made a video saying if I were atheist, I wouldn't be trying to convert people against the religion. What would be the point? And people have said, well, that shows that you lack empathy because you don't care enough to try to convince people's minds differently. Well, same way I'm a vegan. I don't care what you eat. I'm a libertarian. I don't care what you believe politically. It's like I have my own belief system, but I don't care what other people think. And people say, well, that's narcissistic if you don't care what other people think. Yeah, but the trade-off is I'm not trying to argue with people and convince them against their will, because I know about identity protective cognition, and that is whatever I say that goes against what people already believe only reinforces what they already believe. So that's an interesting one. So, but lack of boundaries, I'll give you that one, yes. Okay, what do we got next? Lack of empathy, there it is. Okay, I'll agree, yeah, I'm not very empathetic. I care about people and I want to help people, but overall I think the lack of empathy helps reinforce my strong suits, and I'm not ashamed of the fact that I will do anything I can to help a person, especially psychologically help a person, but I don't have the empathy that most people have. I agree. I'm not even ashamed to say that. And you'd say, well, that definitely makes you narcissistic. And I'll say, okay. Number 8, emotional reasoning. That's my identity. That's all I do all day long, emotional reasoning, because I remove myself from the picture and think, if I were a ghost floating above this room, how would all the other people react emotionally? And then how play a part in this without being emotional but being limited by emotion. So yeah, okay, that's right on. That's a big part of me. Number 9 says splitting. The narcissist personality is split into good and bad parts, as they also split everything in the relationships into good and bad. Any negative thoughts or behaviors are blamed on you or others, whereas they take credit for everything that is positive and good. They deny their negative words and actions while continually accusing you of disapproving. I don't know, I think I'd say early on this was more of an issue, but I've been married for 10 years as of July, and I've had 2 kids now, and I think in the process it's caused me to become more mature. So I think I've made a lot of progress on. All right, number 10, fear. Okay, what is this? The narcissist's entire life is motivated and energized by fear? No, not me at all. I'm all about outsmarting fear. I'm motivated by finding my own way and getting ahead, but fear is weak. No. They have fears about germs, losing all their money. Oh, losing all their money. Okay. So I'm really big into money, but not in like, hey, I'm gonna go get a Lexus and be rich. It's for me, it's about controlling my money, paying off this house early, making money on the side like I'm doing for this video that you are watching now. So I don't see that as fear. I see it as a very strong motivation, because I don't want to be like the typical American and live in debt. I've been there, and I want to be the guy that's, paid off a house by the time I'm 50 and have a strong retirement already set up. Like, in that degree, I don't say that it's fear, but strong motivation as attached to money. Okay. Number 11, anxiety. No, not at all. My identity is the opposite of being anxious. Don't worry about things you can't control. Focus on what you can control. No. Shame. Narcissists don't feel much guilt because they think they're always right. But you see here, that's no. For me, like I said in the beginning of the video, I assume that I'm not a good person, and I assume that at least half the time I'm wrong. That's why I like to make all these videos that just uncensored. I say exactly what I'm thinking, and if I'm wrong, people let me know in the comments, and then I can sort it out from there. I like asking questions so that I can actually learn. I'm obsessed with constructive criticism. Where most people get offended, I soak it up. I'm like, well, if I can become a better person, narcissist thinking, but if I can become a better person by people criticizing me, then I want that. So I think that one's gonna be a little bit different there. Do we have anything else? 13, an inability to be truly vulnerable. No, but see, again, my identity, I wanna be vulnerable so that I can become better, because I'm obsessed with being the best version of myself, which is narcissistic. Number 14, an inability to communicate or work as part of a team. Yes, that's totally me, that's my whole life. Where I work now, though, it's the first environment where it's a true, healthy concept of a team, and I'm thriving in it. But most of my life, like if in school and college, I would get into groups, I'm like, I'm just going to end up doing this myself anyway. So I end up always being like instantly promoted to the team leader, the manager. That's always how my life has been. So I'm getting better on that. And again, being married 10 years definitely helps get me there. Okay, so there we go. I've read them all off on this article that I read when I just Googled this, but it's on mindbodygreen.com, 14 signs you're dealing with a narcissist. So there you go. I feel that as I've read this article, the things that I'm like, yeah, that's totally me, it's either been that or it's been, no, that's not me, and here's why, which only reinforces that I am a narcissist. So I do feel comfortable with my identity. I think even if you Google or you search, are YouTubers narcissists, there's like a list of like the top 50, and guess what? They're some of the most popular YouTubers. I think it takes a certain personality to be an actor, a musician, a performer, a YouTuber, a blogger. And again, I got a blog too, familyfriendlydaddyblog.com. So I think there's truth in that. I think there's a certain personality, and for me, my motivation is I'll sell my personality, and I want to make money on the side, because ultimately I'm like obsessed with not being rich, but being financially in control of things, which goes back to me being, I'm so a narcissist, and I'm not in denial about it. But I don't think that I'm better than other people. It's just I'm so in my own world that I'm just gonna do whatever works from what I'm trying to do here. But again, if I can help someone, I'm going to, but I do lack the empathy. And hopefully I'm getting better about that. Okay, I'd love to hear what you have to say. I am such a narcissist. I know it. Tell me all about it right here.